I love Spence. I'll always root for Spence. But Pacquiao's footwork, his angles, his hand speed is amazing. And I wasn't sure if Spence is ready for that. I wasn't sure if Spence is ready for that. Yeah.
You know, given what happened to the eye too, if
Yep,
they let him fight,
yep.
you gotta think Manny would have shut
The angle,
eye.
yes, man, and the angles, Pacquiao's footwork, man. Spence is, you gotta kind of be a little flat-footed, a little set with him. He's gonna pick you apart. He's gonna break you, but Pacquiao's footwork, man, and angles and work rate, like his volume. So I had Pacquiao. I was rooting up.
You thought Pacquiao would have won?
Yeah.
I hope they still get to fight.
You know what? I don't think Pacquiao's gonna rest till he gets that fight, and I think they're gonna get it.
Yeah.
What's good, family? Smash the like button and subscribe. Wow. Wow. So we just heard there from one of Team Spence's, from one of Errol Spence's sparring partners and former opponents. Wow, this is bad. Team Spence are down. Super bad. Super bad. So one of Errol Spence's sparring partners has aired out the real reason Errol Spence failed to turn up and pulled out in shocking fashion. Errol Spence was that scary. He was that scared, yeah. He had to make up a whole bag of conspiracy things just to get to safety. That's how desperate. It's not. Listen, I'm not going to hold nothing against Spence here, yeah, because the more this story develops, the more that his fake eye injury comes out into the public knowledge. In reality, the more the YB feels sorry for him, because clearly this was a desperate man. Do you understand? He was desperately clambering to get away from your man's Manny Pacquiao, yeah. And it gets to, for me, yeah, it gets to the point where when the facts come out, when the knowledge, when all the little leaks start leaking out, and I see how desperate a man was not to fight, yeah, we have to kind of let it slide at this point, in my opinion, because when a man's this desperate, yeah, and when we start hearing from his sparring partners that Spence wasn't ready for the speed and wasn't ready for the footwork and his eyes were getting twisted up, but like the YB told you, man, it's madness. I told you this as well. Before this sparring partner spoke out, I told you what happened. Errol Spence's eyes weren't able to keep up with the foot speed. I said that days ago. No one ever wants to listen to the YB. You never want to listen. Now look, you're hearing it from people inside the camp, no doubt. Yeah, but like I was saying, listen, for me, it's at that point now, or we're certainly near that point now, where I feel bad for Spence, because he down bad. He down super bad right now. Yeah, because I've never seen a man so sloppy. Yeah, I've never seen a man so sloppily trying to escape his fate as Errol Spence has. Errol Spence was meant to be the lion, the truth. Oh man, you know I'm a lion, and you know, iron sharpens iron. I'm a lion, I'm the truth. I've never seen the truth clambering to get away from a 46-year-old man. Wow, it's bad, super bad. Anyway, let's get to the topic of today's video. We heard there from Errol Spence's former opponent and sparring partner, and he told you, man, all the things I've been telling you. Even before the fight got cancelled, even before Errol Spence found himself in a desperate situation that he knew he didn't want no part of. Yeah? I've already checked my channel out, I've already leaked the video, which was the final straw for Team Spence. That was a video where Pacquiao's hands and feet, Pacquiao was floating around the training floor like a UFO, I swear to God. Pacquiao was floating along the training floor like a UFO. Spence didn't want none of the UFO feet. You've just heard there from Errol Spence's former opponent and sparring partner. He told you. Errol Spence is flat-footed. He likes people flat-footed. Danny Garcia. Yeah? Just stand there. Like a big stiff tree. That's what he likes. Pacquiao floating like a UFO. Spence don't want none of the UFO feet. He don't. And that's what his sparring partner told you, man, he didn't want. In fact, let me give you the word for word, because the word for word is extremely powerful. Errol Spence's sparring partner says, check this out. Manny Pacquiao's footwork angles, hand speed. Spence just wasn't ready for that. I had the feeling Spence just wasn't ready for it. Wow. Your man's. So wait there a minute. Team Spence want us to believe that it was... Team Spence want us to believe that, oh no, it's just my eye was bad. My eye was bad. But then Errol Spence's sparring partners are telling me that Spence just wasn't ready for the angles, the hand speed and the footwork. Oops. That there for me doesn't add up. Because you said it was your eye. Your sparring partners are telling us that you just wasn't ready for the things that you were seeing from Pacquiao. Again, if you man followed my channel, even before Errol Spence pulled out, I told you what was going on. 100%. I said Team Spence were having nightmares about some of the footage that Team Pacquiao were putting out. Let's not forget, whilst Team Pacquiao were putting out the most smokiest training footage, what was Team Spence doing? They was having to delete and retract and censor footage that got out because they was damn bad. Yeah, Spence was getting the beats in sparring from some next don no one's ever heard of. Never mind Pacquiao. What did you man think was going to happen? What, you thought that Spence was going to get whooped by some random unknown sparring partner and then get in the ring with Manny UFO feet Pacquiao? I don't think so. He was out of there. Yeah, he was clambering for the exit. 100%. And that's what happened. He out. Like Errol Spence's sparring partner just said. He had the feeling Spence just wasn't ready for the feet and for the hands and for the angles. And it all makes perfect sense now. It's all adding up perfectly. No doubt. Yeah? Because people don't pull out with eye injuries and then themselves not know there was something wrong. Do you understand that? Oh, I was fine to fight, but then the doctor said no. That never happens. You always know when you've got a bit of an injury. Yeah? Spence was just fine. But like his sparring partner said, at that point in time, I'm not sure whether Team Spence think they need more time, or in reality, they don't want this fight at all. Because Errol Spence's sparring partner says that he had the feeling Spence wasn't ready for the footwork, for the angles, for the speed. What he doesn't say is, does he? Or will he be ready in the future? Will he be ready in the next 4 weeks? Well, we can already debunk that. We already know. We can already see pretty well into Errol Spence's psyche. Because if it was a case of, oh no, Errol Spence just isn't ready now and needs more time, they could have postponed, couldn't they? Errol Spence could have put out another message. Oh, I'm injured or whatever, and we're going to postpone it for 4 weeks. Just like Tyson Fury did. Oops. Errol Spence ain't do no postponement. Errol Spence is out of there. He don't want to have no more nightmares about Pacquiao. He out of there. No postponement, and I think that's why it's all adding up now. It's adding up why they went with the eye injury, because as people know, number one, if Errol Spence had said, "I've hurt my leg," the fans wouldn't have allowed that. That would have looked like a blatant duck. That would have been what would you call it? That would have been an admission an admission from Team Spence that they don't feel ready. So Team Spence are already backed up into a bit of a corner here. They had to announce something which was serious enough that the majority of sheep fans, the majority of people who will believe anything, will agree with it. And that's what we've heard now. The majority of sheeple fans hear that he's got an alleged eye thing. Even though we haven't seen no evidence, they'll just hear that and say, yeah, of course he can't fight. So that's why he had to come with the eye thing. Number one, to con the fans and make it sound semi-serious. But number two, so he could get out of doing a postponement. Oh yeah, we're going to be out for a few months. But to be honest with you, if you look into the eye tear, traditionally, that injury only takes 2 to 4 weeks to fix. Oops. So if it only takes 2 to 4 weeks to fix, why has there not been a postponement? Why has it been a cancellation? We should have a date right now. Let's not forget when Team Fury pulled out. Theirs was rescheduled within a week for October. Where's Errol Spence's rescheduling? Oops. And that goes for all of you goofy Spence fans who think that this pullout was anything else. Because if this pullout was something to do with what they're talking about it being a genuine injury, and not because Errol Spence was scared beyond disbelief, or scared beyond belief, guess what? He would have already booked in it. Think about it. If you've got a genuine injury and that's the only problem, you'd be begging, you'd be campaigning, you'd be assuming there'd be a new date, wouldn't you? Oh no, I'm injured, but I definitely want this fight, so make sure it's rescheduled. Oops. Errol Spence had mentioned nothing about rescheduling. Don't get me wrong. When prompted, he's given it the typical politician response. Oh man, yeah, of course we're going to fight in the future. Yeah, he's always going to say that, but it's one thing saying, of course we're going to fight in the future, of course we're going to run it back. It's another thing actually booking a date, which, like I said, if someone was genuinely planning on doing this fight, as they announced the fight's off, the date would already be ready, wouldn't it? Team Spence would have reached out to Team Pacquiao and said, listen, we definitely want this fight, but we're injured. Let's get a new date fixed already. Oops, there ain't no new date. Which in itself proves this eye injury is fake news. Yeah? Because a genuine injury is easily remedied. All of a sudden, no rescheduling of the date. That tells you there's something more going on here. This isn't just another 2 to 4 week injury. So like I said, and like Errol Spence's sparring partner said, he got the feeling Errol Spence just wasn't ready for the things they were seeing Pacquiao do in training. It's as simple as that. And in conclusion, or we can now conclude, the fact that they haven't rescheduled the bout tells me that Errol Spence and his team just don't have the confidence and simply don't believe they're ever going to be ready to beat Pacquiao. Because if they did, they'd have rescheduled it already. But and to be honest with you, from what I'm actually hearing now, I'm hearing Team Spence, what they're going to do is their plan is to kind of lurk on the sidelines, and they're basically praying and hoping that Pacquiao takes a dive, yeah, because they were expecting Manny Pacquiao to be cooked. They thought they were getting a 46-year-old or however old, 44, 45-year-old pay-per-view name. They thought they were going there and get an easy W. So what I'm hearing now, Team Spence are going to strategically sit on the sidelines, praying and waiting to watch Pacquiao slip, and then they'll jump at it. Because they realise they made a bad mistake. Pacquiao was rock hard for Errol Spence. And in fact, again, look at what Errol Spence's sparring partner says at the end of this video. What does he say? He says, listen, I have the feeling Pacquiao won't rest until he splits Errol Spence's cheeks. Yeah, that's what he says at the end of the interview. At the end of this clip, you can hear it yourself. At the end of go back to the start of the video and listen to the last little part. He says, when responding to whether he thinks this fight will happen in the future or not, he says Manny Pacquiao is rock hard for Errol Spence. Yeah, rock hard for him. Manny Pacquiao has jail love for Errol Spence. He wants him badly, yeah, and Spence knows it as well. That's why he checked out. He ain't trying to go out like that, yeah. He ain't trying to go out like Keith Thurman. Let's not forget that. Manny Pacquiao had already set the precedent there. Manny Pacquiao's already pushing prime fighter wigbacks. Just ask your man's Keith Thurman. Yeah, don't forget that. Your man's Keith Thurman already had his wig pushed back for him. Errol Spence ain't trying to go out like that. He ain't trying to go out like Adrian Broner. So instead, in a way, we have to give credit to Keith Thurman and Adrian Broner, because at least they stepped up. Yes, Adrian Broner was super scary and didn't dare throw his hands. Yes, Keith Thurman had his wig pushed right back in the air for him. But at least they stepped up. Errol Spence, he out of there. The same way he didn't want to fight Crawford. It's all making sense now. Errol Spence likes fighting fights. He knows he can win. He ain't fixing to get stuck in. Because if he was, he'd have been turning up. And we wouldn't have to be sitting here hearing from Errol Spence's sparring partners about how he wasn't ready for the speed and whatever else of Pacquiao. It's bad. 46-year-old Pacquiao. Errol Spence's training partner just told us he wasn't ready for Pacquiao's speed and power and whatever else. Wow, Spence down bad. He down super bad right now.